why wouldn't you want this for your family? And besides all the wonderfulness of family togetherness, and it's a time where you can actually let your hair down and you don't have to be that person that everybody expects you to be and the pressures you put on yourself at dinner time. Have fun with your family, show your true colors and get to know them. And so all that gelled within me and I created Balabusta's Secret.
Welcome to the Radiant Mom Rising, the podcast that's all about celebrating and empowering the incredible, hardworking mothers out there. I'm your host, Mary Dibble. I'm on a mission to equip you with the tools, strategies, and inspiration you need to conquer the challenges of motherhood and life, all while embracing your radiant self. Join us each week for amazing guest interviews, relatable stories, and a whole lot of fun. We're here to create a vibrant, supportive community where we can be our authentic selves, where no one feels alone, and where we uplift and cheer each other on along this incredible journey of motherhood. So, fellow Radiant Moms, get ready to rise, shine, and conquer the world. Let's grow together, laugh together, and make every week a celebration of the powerful, radiant moms we are. This is Radiant Mom Rising, and you're part of a community where your brilliance shines through. Are you ready to rise with us? Let's get started. I am so excited for you all to listen to today's guest, Linda Lederman. Linda's cooking skills were so bad, her own family banned her from cooking when she was a teen. Happily, her skills have dramatically improved. Now she has over 1,000 cookbooks, is a graduate of Roxby Cooking School and the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and has countless cooking courses from the International Culinary Center and National Gourmet Institute under her belt. She's a kitchen confidence coach and owner of Balabusta's Secret, where she helps busy moms with meal planning, prep, and cooking lessons, as well as coaches them on how to serve dinners with side dishes of games and clever conversations. Whether you're a novice cooker or looking to add some oomph to your dinner routine, Linda's all about making ordinary weeknight meals extraordinary with speed, ease, yum, and lots of fun. Hook up with her for some one-on-one or group virtual coaching. Your inner dinner demons will thank you. I absolutely loved my conversation with her. She really is a hoot. I think you're going to enjoy her. So without further ado, Miss Linda LedermanIf.
Thanks for tuning in to the Radiant Mom Rising podcast. I'm Mary Dibble, your host. And today I have Miss Linda Lederman with me. Hey, Linda, how are you doing today? I am doing fantastic. The sun is out and that just makes me smile. Oh, I love it. Me too. I love seeing the sun. I'm actually a little sad that everyone's like, oh, it's only 2 months till Christmas. And I'm like, I'm not ready for the cold weather. I'm not ready for the holidays yet. We even haven't had Halloween yet. So that is way too far away. Thank you. I know. It's like everyone just jumps to Christmas. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But you're right. Halloween is like right around the corner too. So yeah, and Linda here, she helps entrepreneurial parents to get weeknight dinners done with ease, speed, yum, and fun. And I'm so excited to have you on my show today. So first of all, thank you for joining me. I appreciate
Thanks for
that.
having me.
Absolutely. And I would love for you to share with us your journey that you went through as a mom yourself and what you've experienced and what led you to want to help other people in the same situation.
Absolutely. So first, let me say that the name of my business is Balabusta's Secret. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I want to tell you what a Balabusta is, because not a lot of people know. So a Balabusta is an old-fashioned Yiddish term for a woman who makes a fine home. Now, my fine home definition is the anti-Martha Stewart home. My fine home is the one where everybody wants to go to. They can put up their feet. They can feel like themselves. They know they're going to have great conversation, great laughter, delicious food, and they just want to be soaking up in that warmth. So Balabusta's Secret is to teach those busy moms how to recreate that in your family. So now that you know what I do, I'm going to tell you how I got there.
Powerful.
I got there by being a terrible cook. You're going to say, you're supposed to be my kitchen confidence coach. The answer is, when I was in high school, I said to my mom one day, Mom, your cooking is awful. And it wasn't horribly tasting. It was just so bland, so boring, the same thing on a rotation every time. It was horrible. It was horrible. So she said to me, all right, big shot, one day a week, you're going to cook. You're going to tell me what the ingredients are that you need. I will buy them and you cook. And she went out and she bought me a book called The Joy of Cooking. And back when that came out, it was like a humongous Webster's dictionary size cookbook, and it had 0 pictures. Now picture this. I don't know how to cook. I have no clue what I'm doing, and there are no pictures to guide me. And the pressure is on to make something that's different. I'm totally clueless. So the first thing I decided to make was Swedish meatballs. Now, if you know me, even if you don't know me, you can guess. I never had a Swedish meatball. I don't know what they look like, don't know how they taste. And when I cooked this recipe, it was a disaster. Horrible. So my family, it was the first time out. All right, give her a little credit. She tried. Okay. Week number 2, I made something called, and I'm going to still mispronounce it because a gazillion years later, I still don't know how to pronounce it. Veal cordon bleu. Okay. So I didn't know what it was, never tasted it. Make this recipe, a disaster again. Now my family's getting a little leery of this little thing my mother is imposing on me. By the 3rd recipe, also horribly, perfectly horrible, they decided to ban me from cooking. And I was no longer allowed to cook. Now, some people, no matter what age you are, will say, okay, it's not that much of an important skill. I'll do takeout. I'll do Kraft macaroni and cheese. I'm done. I'm humiliated. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not that kind of person. I took it as a challenge and I said, game on. I'm going to show you I'm not going to be that horrible cook because I don't suffer defeat lightly. So then I went on to teach myself how to cook. And over the years, I bought a ton of cookbooks. I attended cooking classes. I attended cooking schools all the while I was a practicing attorney. And my cooking got better and better and better. And all of a sudden people said, oh, you made this? You're making it something else. It was like, holy cow, they couldn't believe it. But then I got really, really good. So fast forward, I became a mom late in life. So I was an older mom. I've been an attorney for many, many, many years, a partner in a law firm, been there, done that. And I said, you know what? It was so hard for me to have kids at my age. I'm going to take time where I'm going to enjoy them. And so as they were very, very little and they were growing up a little by little, they would have play dates and the play dates would have sleepovers. And I wasn't the kind of mom who just got takeout pizza for every dinner on a sleepover. And I would make a meal and we'd play games at the dinner table. And their friends would say to me, my mom doesn't make food like this. We don't sit and have fun at the dinner table. Can you teach her? And out of the mouth of babes, I started researching dinner time, the importance of dinner time. And the more I researched, the more I found that it is a crucial part of everybody's development and happiness. And the studies show that if you have a sit-down family meal, and I live in the real world, and it doesn't have to be 7 days a week, and it doesn't have to always be dinner. If you can only do a Sunday brunch, at least you're getting a sit-down meal in. But the study shows when a family has sit-down family meals, the kids do better in school. They have better communication skills, better social skills. They are less likely to abuse illegal substances, and the list goes on and on and on. And I'm thinking, well, why wouldn't you want this for your family? And besides all the wonderfulness of family togetherness, and it's a time where you can actually let your hair down and you don't have to be that person that everybody expects you to be and the pressures you put on yourself at dinner time. Have fun with your family, show your true colors and get to know them. And so all that gelled within me and I created Balabusta's Secret.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, I love it. I love how you took that as a challenge instead of like getting that defeat that so many of us can get into because it's just the easier way out. You took the time to educate yourself, to go out there, take the classes, invest in yourself to get yourself on the other side of that. And look how it's paid off for you. I think that's such a powerful message alone right there for so many who just feel just because you're kind of failing at something doesn't mean that has to be the end of it all. How else can you learn? What can you take from this? And how can you find ways to specialize that skill or even just learn that skill.
I honestly believe you need to be learning your whole life. That's number one. And number two is learn from your mistakes. That's the only way you get better. And, because I did this intensive learning, I know the shortcuts to teach people so they don't need to have all this learning and all this experience and all the lessons, but I can teach them how to do it in a way that's right for themselves, right for their family food preferences, right for your lifestyle. Because if it's not right for you, you're not going to maintain it. So what's the point?
I love that. And that's so important too, is right there is like finding a way that works for you in your life. There's so many things out there. They're just like, do it this way, this way, this way, this way, and it's going to work. And it's like, but my life isn't looking like yours. I'm not in the same place as yours. So where I'm trying, it's just not giving me the results that I'm looking for. And it's because you're not being true to yourself. You're just trying to follow how somebody else did it and got there. So I love the way you customize that in a way that works for everyone. And if you don't mind to share how that looks like to work with you.
Sure. So there's a whole bunch of areas that I work with people. Sometimes it's something as easy as kitchen organization. If you have things in the right place that are accessible, it makes your cooking much quicker. You're not searching all the time. So cooking, kitchen organization is one thing. When I talk about meal planning with people, everybody has a different style. And the first thing most people hear when they hear meal planning is, I'm not giving up my Sundays. I don't know what I want to eat today. How the heck is my family going to know what we're going to want to eat 5 days from today? So we work on those issues because everybody has a different style, different pace. So we figure out a meal plan that's going to work for you. And it doesn't have to be all written out. It could be that you know how to rotate recipes, how to repurpose your leftovers. So you're not cooking from scratch all the time, but you can get a general idea. So we can be as specific or as unspecific as you want to be, or whatever's going to work for you. We talk about meal prep. What are the shortcuts you can do so you're not doing the same routine steps day after day when really you could have chop a whole bunch of garlic the first time and save your leftovers. So when you're cooking the next night and your recipe's got garlic, you're not chopping it anymore. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to chop a lot of garlic, any different than when you had to chop a couple of garlics. So there's many, many little prep steps that you can learn also to keep it short. When it gets time to a cooking lesson, again, you have to learn the basic techniques so you feel comfortable with them. And the more you feel comfortable with them, the quicker you will be able to do them. So before we get to the actual cooking, we have to figure out, well, what are you going to make? So one of the exercises I like to do with people are find out what's in your pantry, find out what's in your refrigerator, find out what's in your freezer. So that's number one, know what you have. The next step is know what you need so you can fill in the blanks. And the third step is know how to use them. And that's where the cooking part comes in. So then we'll do some cooking lessons and you'll learn some techniques. And usually I do co-cooking classes with my clients, which means instead of them getting a program where they have to read and think about and then go by themselves in their kitchen and flounder, we cook alongside you, or I cook alongside with you based on recipes that we've worked on and that I forward to you in advance. And you cook with me virtually so you can see what I'm doing. I can see what you're doing. When you have a question, I can answer you immediately. And guess what? At the end of that day's lesson, your dinner's done. Mm-hmm. So that's fantastic. Yeah. So we work on that. We learn things like batch cooking, which means making a lot of a particular ingredient and then repurposing it into something else during the week. So you're not eating the same leftover day after day. I mean, nobody likes Taco Tuesdays on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Friday. But you can repurpose some of that meal to make it something very different. So again, you're not cooking from scratch every night of the week, and you're having a totally different flavor for your dinner.
Oh, I love that.
So those are some of the skills we work on. And then while we're doing all of that, we talk about how do you make dinner time fun? Because there's nothing worse than actually finally figuring out what to make, finally making it, and then sitting at the dinner table and you say to your kids, how was your day? And they say, fine. What did you learn in school today? Nothing. Now, if you ask me, they've been in school for 8 hours a day and they learn nothing. I don't believe them. You're not generating any conversations. So when we're talking about dinner, we're also talking about Well, what could you do at the dinner table to make it fun or interesting? How can you spark conversations? What games can you play? What conversations can you start? Because to me, it's really a holistic package from start to finish, from the what are you going to make to how you make it to how you serve it and eat it and have fun.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's something that I'm sure there's a lot of people listening who we don't do that sometimes. I didn't grow up like that. So I never had that sit down dinner talk and dinner experience in my family. We sat in front of the TV. It's just how I was raised. It's what we did. And I see how that hurt me because, I am somebody who fell into drugs at early in my
Mhm.
teenage years. I am somebody who was rebellious and didn't really know how to express myself, didn't know how to stand up, didn't really have a good self-esteem.
Mhm.
And so I'm really working to be different with that with my family. And although we don't get to always sit down together as a family, depending on like how late my husband's working or I'm working, things like that, we do always try to make our time when we can, especially on the weekends, if anything, to have our time to sit down. And we have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old who don't really talk much, to a point. Our 4-year-old
Mhm.
who just started pre-K, she's actually in an exciting phase where she's coming home and sharing what's going on in school. And I love it. Our 15-year-old, who's my son, you would think that he would be somebody who's just like, oh, it was good. It was good. But no, I'm so proud of him. He will come and tell you what he did in each class, what he's learning. He's in marching band, he's in robotics. So he's always doing new projects. He's got friends. We're actually trying right now to convince him to act. There's this girl named Molly, and he act like he doesn't like her, but I can tell. And they have the homecoming dance coming up, and I'm just encouraging him, honey, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, even if she says no, just go as friends, experience life. You're going to learn, even if it ends up being a failure. He's like, oh, I don't want to mess up my dignity. I'm like, he's so cute. But I guarantee you she's probably wanting you to ask her. But even if it's not, I think it's okay. You guys are good friends and you don't have to go about it and make it a big deal, but it's important to even get those rejections because it's just part of life and you kind of grow from it, you'll learn from it. But it's so nice getting to have those conversations. And you're right, dinner time's a good time to really connect and hear about things that
A good way to do something like that at dinner time is,
Mhm.
and this takes the pressure off of you as the person who's cooking dinner. Because, sometimes we have these views that, you see them on TV or you envision the women that are in your neighborhoods and in your community have all got their acts together and everybody's meal is much more perfect than your crazy chaos. But one thing that I encourage people to do is make your dinner, however it's going to be, put it on the table. And the first thing I ask my family is after they taste it, is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down? So now number one, I'm sure I validate their opinion. If I get anything other than a thumbs up, whether it's a mediocre or a thumbs down, I don't say, "Oh my god, I'm never gonna make this again. I'm a failure." I say to them, "How could I improve it next time?" Now I'm making them think about what tastes good, what do they like? Is it a texture thing? Is it a color thing? Is it a spice thing, a flavor combination thing? And I ask how I can improve it. So now they know I'm actually gonna do it the next time using their suggestions. So that's a tremendous validation for their opinions. And if it comes out terrible, we'll evaluate it again. But it
Mhm.
also shows them resilience because, yeah, I screwed up. It wasn't great, but I'm not giving up.
Mm.
And so
That's
it's a lesson that everybody can learn. It's so easy to implement, and it takes all that pressure off of you, of the mom making dinner.
oh yeah, I love that actually. Come to think of it, my husband does do that because for us, he's the main cook. And he actually gets really like almost offended if we don't acknowledge, like, did we like it? Did we not like it? But I'm like, no, like, honey, sometimes it's a compliment that we're eating so fast or eating like in silence. Then we love it. And I'm like, we don't mean no harm, but that's beautiful because I didn't even think of it that he's looking for that feedback. Is this something that's a go getter? Because he always he never follows a recipe. He's so naturally gifted at just making stuff happen. He can really make something out of nothing. And that's one of the reasons why he's the cook because he genuinely enjoys it. He loves the process. He loves the presentation of it and things like that.
And the
So
creativity. It's a
yeah,
very quick once you get once you feel comfortable with the process, it's a tremendous way to be creative.
yeah,
And you're giving nourishment to your family in a way that they actually like it. Holy cow. It's a winner all around.
absolutely. I know the few times that I do cook, I do like to have fun with it actually. Like I usually play like my music have me a glass of wine and I just get to it and I love it and I enjoy it. And I'll play with my kids. I'll have my kids help with whether it's measuring things, like I get them involved. My daughter loves like helping make eggs, for instance. I love doing those kind of activities too, while teaching them a little bit about how to cook and watching out for the hot burners and measuring things. There's so much to it that you can even include your family with, make it a really fun experience. We can dance in the kitchen. We can have some fun with it.
And you're making memories in all those tiny steps. You are making huge memories that they're going to draw upon in terms of their happiness and really on how they want to raise their family when they get to that point in life. Oh yeah, I remember we did this when I was little. Oh my God, I remember dancing with my mom in the kitchen. It was so much fun. And they'll dance with their kids. And now they're carrying on a tradition of love and nourishment that you started.
Ugh, absolutely. I didn't even think of it like that, but you're absolutely right. Because it's something I want to have an experience with my kids. And so if there's somebody out there right now who's struggling, who are so busy, they're exhausted, they are typically ready to just throw something in the microwave or put something quick on because it's just the easier way, what would you suggest or inspire them with from your experience?
You have to start with something easy because you need a success. If you want to say, yeah, I need to do better, and then you be like me and cook Swedish meatballs, they're not hard to cook. I don't know. I haven't cooked it since I started that one time, but don't start with something hard. Start with something easy. And most of the meals that I teach people are done in under 30 minutes. So really, you don't need, by the time you call for takeout or go out to the store to get your takeout and come back, you could have had a homemade meal done that's going to be cheaper, more
Mhm.
flavorful, healthier, more nutritious. Holy moly, start thinking of it, your dinner time routine in a different way. And when you learn those tricks, if you've got that delicious dinner done in under 30 minutes and you don't have a ton of cleanup because you know how to be efficient when you cook, well, yeah, that's worth your time.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that's you saying that. That's one thing my mom did teach me because she was always big on cleaning. She always cleaned as she went. And it made it so much easier in the end. So you're not having this huge pile of dishes at the end. She would clean as she went and even wiping
Great
the counters,
suggestion.
things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. And I do try to incorporate that. Even if my husband's cooking, I'll try to clean behind him as he goes. To kind of help out too.
When you
Teamwork.
think about it, when dinner's done, the last thing you want to do is clean a lot of dishes. What you really want to do is put the dishes in the dishwasher and have maybe one pan or pot,
Yeah, left to
clean.
do.
That's all.
Exactly. Yep, absolutely. I think that's great. It's finding what works for you. It's not trying to, you're right. Just you're not trying to wake up to be a chef.
No, but you want to be flavorfully nourishing yourself, your
Exactly.
spirit, and your family.
Yep. And with inflation as it is right now in the world too, it is challenging for a lot of people. I feel like going out to eat, we don't do fast food. And I'm so glad we don't anymore. Cause I mean, we often that we've never done it, but we definitely don't now because, oh my God, even just going to McDonald's, it's like you're paying like for buying steak for like these really awful burgers that are like, and aren't healthy for you, but it's ridiculous the cost that it costs to try to feed your family just even in fast food today. So why not put that money towards a healthy meal that maybe even also will last you more than just one day?
Another way that you can save on your budget is if you have a well-stocked pantry and you know how to use it, you will actually use it. You're not going to have a lot of those. What did I buy this ingredient for? I forgot what the recipe was. And now your cabinet is filled with stuff you don't know how to use. You don't know what the recipe was, and you get frustrated. But if you actually don't buy those one dish wonders, you'll start using things. And if you know what's in your refrigerator and how to use them, you won't get to the end of the week and say, oh my God, I forgot to use my greens. They're growing mold. I have science experiments everywhere, and you throw them out. So you're wasting your money by just not knowing what you're doing.
You're right. That's so true. I've been guilty of that before, of just like us getting one thing and then forgetting about it. And it's going to waste. And it's like, great, we're just throwing money down the drain. And there's so many people out there who are starving. Like it's ridiculous. So I think what you do is fascinating. It's amazing. It's so needed in this world. And I would highly recommend anyone to reach out to you, Linda, and come work with you. I think they'd be lucky. It sounds like what you bring is something so unique, especially with walking people actually through cooking. I love that. I don't think I've heard of that before. So I think it's incredible what you've created. And then how long have you been doing that for? Yeah.
It feels like my whole life.
I know, right? I know, right?
Because, once it gets in your system,
Yeah.
it feels like you always knew how to do this, and then I remind myself, no, I didn't. And that helps me relate to the women that I work with because I know where they're coming from. And I know how to simplify the process to get them from where they are to get them to where I am.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. And I think it's great that you've been on this journey, and that you were able to, like I said, create something out of your experiences. Because so many of us, I feel like, have this mentality, or society teaches you, you got to go to school, go to college, get that job. And we don't realize the uniqueness about just things that we are exposed to and that we learn along the line, how we can turn it around to not only help others, but even monetize it for ourselves to better our families, to better everyone in the end. And I love it. And I want to support it and encourage it, because it's nice to be able to truly do something you love that makes a difference, while also getting to support your family and your life, you know?
And that's really what it's all about. I mean,
Yeah.
why are you having a family if it's not to care for them in a loving and nourishing way?
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's so important because, I've even was hearing on another podcast I was listening to about how they say the death of people, the longevity of it is getting shorter and shorter because all the processed foods called electronics that we're being exposed to. So it's like where people used to live until their 80s, 90s. Now they're going to be living only to their 60s, 70s. And it's going to only get worse for the further generations if we don't start really making movements to be aware of the preservatives, of the hormones, of the exposures that we're allowing ourselves to, because it's just the norm.
And it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't. There's many people out there. Like I was actually talking yesterday to somebody who had their own farm life. They grow all their stuff. They do everything organically now. It's new for her too, but she loves it. It's like she can see the healthy benefits. They have very limited screen time. They're out in the countryside now, just kind of living their lives about their family. I was like, that's awesome. That's incredible.
And, the food will taste better if it's seasonally grown and you're eating it in the right season and it's fresh.
Yeah,
There's nothing like it.
I know. And I think that's a wonderful journey. And I think it's exciting. It's actually something that we hopefully one day we're going to get to. My husband's always wanted to farm. He loves gardening. He loves that kind of stuff. He's very health conscious. So it just goes with who he is. And so I'm like, that's exciting to think that one day that will be our next journey.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Linda, tell us a little bit about how people can find you if they are interested in working with you.
Sure. I have a website called Balabusta's Secret, and I have blogs on there about making your dinner time meaningful, meal plan prep, meal planning in general, funny stories, recipes, helpful hints. I have a Facebook group called Easy Weeknight Dinners for Busy Moms, and we have a ton of fun in there. We have jokes in there. We have recipes, food ideas. It's a community where people are giving suggestions and helping each other out. But, it takes a community. Learn from somebody. Don't be afraid to ask. And it's a really, really fun group. So Easy Weeknight Dinners for Busy Moms. If you want to get on my mailing list and find out when I have some group courses coming up, you can either write to me at linda@balabustasecret.com, or in the show notes, there'll be a link to a freebie I'm offering everybody on easy one-dish dinners. So remember, I talked about making those quick dinners. This will give you a whole bunch of recipes to get you started. But once you get on my mailing list, I'll be able to give you my weekly newsletters and updates on when I have group coaching. I do one-on-one coaching all the time. So if that's something you're interested in and do those cooking courses with me, reach out to me, linda@balabustasecret.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. And of course, we will definitely share all that in the show notes. And thank you so much for that most offer for the audience who are listening. I think this has been super helpful, inspiring, and such an important topic that so many need and we all can relate to. And you're bringing such a great solution to that. And I thank you for what you do, Linda. It's fantastic.
Thank you. And I'd just like to leave everybody with a really basic thought that really is at the core of most of what I do. It doesn't have to be complex to be delicious. and everybody deserves to live a lustrous life. So why don't you create one for you and your family?
That is a perfect thing to end with. I love it so much. I cannot thank you enough for being part of this and for sharing everything you have and doing all that you do. I find it incredible. Before we end, though, I'd love if you don't mind to share. You said you're a mom. How many kids do you have?
I have
Oh,
2 kids. Both of them are in college right now. My daughter's a freshman, my son's a senior, and they both know how to cook.
yeah, of course they do. I love it. I mean, what you
In fact, my daughter is enrolled at Johnson and Wales and studying culinary arts.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, that's awesome. See, that's going to take her such great places. And I mean, people say it's therapeutic. That's how my husband sees it. There's something about it that he finds therapeutic as well, too. He wish he had more time to be able to do that. I think he's even talked about before how he'd love to have his own little restaurant someday where he can, customize meals for things like that. So it is a great journey. It's a great thing to do, but it's just so important to create those times and those healthier meals for your family because everything that goes inside of them, affects them, affects their health, affects their future, affects all of us. And so we definitely want to strive to be more mindful and aware. And that's why there's women like you there to help those of us who struggle or are not as educated or not good at that to learn. And I thank you for doing that.
My pleasure. And I make it fun because it's got to
Yeah.
be fun or you're not going to want to do it.
Exactly. That's what we're all about. I think that's awesome. Again, thank you so much for joining me on the show today and sharing everything that you have. It's been wonderful. I was just sitting here and talking with you. I love it.
Thanks. Happy cooking to all.
It was such a joy talking with Linda. Here are the takeaways from today's episode. The name Balabusta is an intriguing Yiddish term for a woman who creates a warm and welcoming home. This concept emphasizes that your home should be a place where people feel comfortable, and it doesn't need to be a Martha Stewart-like perfection. Hey listeners, wanted to invite you to join me on my free 3-day workshop coming up December 13th through the 15th. This is going to be a great opportunity for us moms to come together and just really get clarity and direction behind what we want to accomplish in 2024. There's going to be coaching, there's going to be great value, even a guest speaker. It's going to be fun. I want you to come engage and get some ideas around what you want for 2024. So come join us and let's make 2024 be our best year yet. Hope to see you there. Click the link below and save yourself a seat.